Hey, I'm Amelia, and I just wanted to say that I think you're doing fantastic, and that keep it up the great work. And I can't imagine how hard it is to be in that situation. Um, I just wanted to say that, and I think you're pretty cool. And I listened to your podcast from way beginning till now, and I'm very happy that you got transferred. So God's looking up to you, and amen. Take care, buddy.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from Randall, an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder in Red Onion State Prison in the state of Virginia in the USA. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me today. This is Randall Via. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery in King Mountain Correctional Center in Oakwood, Virginia. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I have a toll-free number if you would like to call, leave a message, encouragement, ask a question, whatever it may be. The number is 1-888-524-1932. That's in the United States. Anyone outside of the U.S., simply put a plus in front of the 1, and it's the exact same number. I hope to hear from you.
Today is a call-in episode. I have my own hotline. As most listeners are aware, the phone number can be found at the beginning and end of each episode. I hope you reach out to me. Do you have a question for me? Or, you just want to leave encouragement or cuss me out? By all means, call. It's toll-free, and it won't cost you nothing. The first question comes from Dalton Mann out of Missouri.
Hey, man, I'm a really, really big fan of your podcast. Actually, I learned about you on the documentaries they did on you. My name is Dalton, man. I'm 22. I've done about 3 years in the Missouri Department of Corrections. I guess my question would be, I don't know, it's kind of a hard question because you ain't really been out that much, but, what would you say about people that kind of want to go back, if that makes any type of sense? I don't know, man. I have a battle in my head sometimes where I feel like I abandoned people that, I was clicked up with type shit. But just random question. I enjoy the podcast and I love it, man. And good luck to you, brother. And I hope to see you outside one day.
Dalton, that's a good question. I know where you're coming from. You build bonds in here. And Missouri's a rough prison system. So, when you're in a system like that, you get around a clique of guys, they have your back. And I've known guys that have literally served time in the military, that have fought in Afghanistan, that have fought in Iraq and other wars. And they compare prison to war. So, in essence, you're in the foxhole with these guys. You watch their back, they watch your back. When you leave the pod, they keep an eye on your cell to make sure some shifty-ass punk doesn't slide up in there and steal your stuff. You get close to guys. So I know where you're coming from when you say that you want to go back because you feel like you abandoned them in there. First of all, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it regardless. Don't do something that stupid, bro. It's not worth it. You don't have to abandon them just because you're home now. You don't have to feel like you abandoned them. You know their names. You know their state numbers. Bro, find out where they're at. Go on inmatelocator.com, and you can find out whatever prison they're in, and you just reach back out to them. You know, and you shoot them an email, you write them a letter, or however you get in touch in Missouri with prisoners. And you help them out, man. You know, you give them your phone number, y'all email, you write, you do whatever, man. But you stay in touch and you let them know, look, man, I apologize that I've been out of touch this long, man. But it's hectic out here on the streets. You know, you get so caught up in this bullshit out here, you know, trying to survive, trying to live, and do all these things. But I'm back, and. If you feel like you betrayed them, like you've abandoned them, then just simply man up and be like, yo, look, man, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to do this. Just, things got away from me. But I'm here now, man. How can I help, bro? Like, do you need something? I might not be able to send you a lot, but I'll at least try to send you a few bucks every month. I can order you some books or, whatever the case may be, bro. You was in prison. Like, you know what these guys are going through. You know what they need. So just do what you can to help them out. Get online, man. Try to tell their stories. Maybe do what some of my friends have done for me and start a podcast. Let them talk about life in Missouri prison. The more prisoners who can get our stories out there, who can get our voices out there, the more change we can enact inside the prison system. Not just in a state or two, but hopefully across the whole board. Don't go back to prison. Dude, I can't begin. I am fighting tooth and nail to get out of prison. I'm doing everything I can to get up out of here. Look at the impact I've made from this side of the prison wire. Imagine how much more I could do on the other side. The same goes for you, bro. I hope you take my advice, man. Reach back out to. And good luck with that, man. I hope you take my advice. I hope you don't go back to prison, man. Don't throw your life away. Just reach back out to your boys. Help them however you can. Let me know how that works out. The second question comes from Alan in Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, Randy. This is Alan from Chicago, Illinois. I just want to say I'm a big fan of the podcast. I've listened to every episode up until today. And my question for you, as compares to Red Onion and Wallens Ridge, I know you mentioned a little bit about the food at Keene Mountain, but I'd be interested to hear about the people there and how they vary from Red Onion and Wallens Ridge, because if you listen to your podcast, it sounds like the people at Wallens Ridge were more annoying, frustrating, more difficult to deal with than at Red Onion. And I'd like to hear how that translates over to Keene Mountain and whether that's the same, different, or if the people there are a whole lot better, being that it's a medium security prison. But do really appreciate the podcast. I listen to it almost every day. I'm away into work. So always happy to hear your updates, and hopefully you can answer this question if you got the time to. But sending my support from Chicago.
All right, Alan, again, great question. And, It's actually something I've been contemplating on my own the last couple of weeks. Red Onion was a whole different ball game. You know, Wallace Ridge was. It could be a somewhat dangerous prison from time to time, but when Red Onion first opened up, like Red Onion was hell on wheels. Like it was not a prison that you play games in. You know, especially for the first, say, 15 years. It's changed. You know, it's turned over a new leaf recently. But back in the day, you know, it was. Yeah, I mean, it really was. I mean, it was a hellhole. Like, it was extremely violent, you know. Inmates fighting inmates. Inmates fighting COs. Oh, COs fighting COs. You know, like, it was that kind of environment. It was extremely violent. It was extremely brutal. It was very, very harsh living conditions. So, it toughened a lot of guys up. You know, it broke a lot of guys. You know, you had some punks, you had some crybabies and whiners and whatnot, but I don't know. I think at the Onion, guys were just better equipped to deal with it. You know, simply because they knew that if they cried too much, they was going to be perceived as weak. You know, so I think a lot of people kept their complaints and everything to themselves, whereas at Wallace Ridge, it wasn't like that. You know, especially the pod that I was in. I was in a really messed up pod. Yeah, it was great that I was in a single cell, you know, and that pod got a little bit more, you know, pod wreck than the other pods did. And we had a microwave, and we was the only one that did, you know, other than the kitchen pod. You know, there was a few good things about it, but it was just the caliber of guys in that pod got on my nerves like you would not believe. It is a miracle I made it off of there without running my time up or messing everything up or throwing everything away. You know, there was numerous times where I had to call Nicole. I had to call Paulie or Michael or John, you know, just, you know, to be able to talk to them and just like, look, this is what's going on. And like, you know, they let me vent. And if they wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have made it. There's no way on earth I would have made it off of there. Here at Keene Mountain, it's better than both. There was one little small group of guys I was kind of hanging out with at first. And a couple of them are okay, but you got one guy, you know, from another state that, you know, all this dude does is complain. All he does is cry and whine, and he points at, he's a snitch, he's this, he's that. You know, and eventually I just had to be like, all right, you know what, I'm either going to have to just like really put this guy in his place, or I'm just going to walk away. So I walked away, and I walked away from that table. Every now and then, I stopped to speak to a couple of the guys that are, you know, I was actually okay with. I left the complainers behind. I'll put them in my rear view. I'm not talking to them no more. And if you come up to me with that complaint and stuff, like, I'll give you a couple minutes, you know, to kind of vent, to kind of get it off your chest a little bit. And after that, man the f*** up. Because I'm not going to sit here and be your therapist. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your mama. And I ain't your dog. I don't have a PhD behind my name. So, but it's so much better. I don't know how to explain it. You know, for the most part, a lot of guys in the pod that I'm in actually did time at Red Onion and Wallace Ridge. You know, you have a couple of guys, oh man, I would like to go back. I won't go punch a CO. I guarantee you, you'll get back up there. And it won't take you but a day. You'll be on the bus tomorrow to go back up there. Nope. All right, then, deal with it. But there's a lot more to do. You get a lot more freedom. You know, you got a huge rec yard. You get to go out. And, you know, I guess a lot of guys are working out now, especially at summertime. You know, so they've been getting a lot of the stress off of them, and it makes it easier to deal with them when they do work out. And I've been, you know, focusing on staying around more of the positive people and doing what I can to speak positivity into their lives so that they're willing to be even more positive in their own conversations in their own lives. There's a guy here named Ryan that I've really been working out. Like, me and this dude are killing ourselves in exercise. And he's a good dude. The thing is, he's not a criminal. Technically he's in prison, so technically that makes him a criminal. But by criminal, I mean somebody that just, you know, they break the law just randomly for whatever reason. They're criminal minded. They think about breaking the law. This guy just had an incident where he was having a really bad day and he wound up pulling a gun on somebody, sort of like a road rage type of situation, and he wound up killing them, and now he's in prison pulling life. I hang out with him a lot. Old man Red left, so I don't, hang out with him anymore, obviously. But Ryan, he's a decent guy. There's a couple other guys here. I try to spend, more time with them than others. There's some in here, if they try to talk to me, I'll just tell them, look, man, I ain't your friend. What you stopping to talk to me for? And I just simply look them in the eyes, and they just, oh, sorry. And they shamble off. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not your therapist. I don't want to be a therapist. I don't mind helping someone out. I don't mind listening to someone, But there's a point when, you complain about the same things all day long, every single day. Go write it up. Go do something about it. Like, if it's bothering you that much, stop doing the same thing that you're doing. Like, that's insane. Literally, that's the definition of insanity. You do the same damn thing expecting a different result. No, it doesn't work like that. If you do the exact same thing without changing anything up, you're going to get the same result every single time. And that's what, some guys in here, they don't want to realize that because it makes them feel good to be a martyr. It makes them feel good to blame everybody else for the mistakes that they've made. Because if they have to face themselves, then they have to realize that, damn, I'm the one that put me in prison. It wasn't the police, wasn't the judge or the Commonwealth attorney, wasn't mama or daddy, wasn't Trump, wasn't Biden, wasn't none of them boys. I'm the one that put myself in prison, so I'm the one that's got to suck it up and deal with it. And they don't want to do that. There's a night and day difference between, them crybabies at Wallens Ridge and here. Like, it's the best prison I've been to. For the most part, guys have their own cliques. They kind of stay within those cliques, and there's always a little bit of overlap. But it's easy to simply just walk away. You can go in and out of your cell almost at will up here. If you don't want to talk to nobody, if you don't want to be in the cell, but you want to be out in the pod for whatever reason, but you don't want to talk.
You have 1 minute remaining.
All you got to do is put your headphones on, and for the most part, guys respect that. There's a little bit more respect here simply because there's more opportunity to do something and get away with it than there is at Red Onion and Wallens Ridge, because there's quite a few blind spots here, because this is a much older prison that was built back in '89. Red Onion and Wallens Ridge are brand new prisons, and there are no blind spots there. But thank y'all for reaching out to me. I appreciate it. I appreciate the questions. Thank you.
Thank you for using GTL.